Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off. The last video we talked about simple footwork for advancing or retreating. We're going to do a real short review of those mechanics right now. Okay, so first thing is, if we just start off with our basic stance, we're just going to stand as if we were standing in line, just standing around. All you want to do is take a step forward. You're going to shift your weight so your weight's about equal. You're going to have maybe 60% on your rear foot. Bring the hands up. Keep your elbows in at your ribs, hands beside your face. This is your basic on guard position stance. Okay, so our footwork, if you recall, was basically a step and slide or a slide and step. So the step and slide, you're going to step forward with the lead foot and then slide the rear foot up. Step forward with the lead foot, slide the rear foot up. The goal to keep in mind here is we want to maintain our basic defensive structure while we're able to utilize good mobility. So as you do this, you want to keep your balance, and you want to maintain this posture and maintain this structure, so that way if a punch comes you can parry, if something comes you can cover the head. Those arms can come up to cover the head, or they can come right back down very quickly to cover the ribs. You're in a position where you can check a kick very easily, so it's just a good structure. And plus the knees bent and the rear heel elevated also maintain that sense of springiness. You're ready to move at any time. You don't have to overcome inertia as if you were standing straight up with your knees straight and your body just in a at attention type of a posture. So again, our first footwork mechanic is step and slide shuffle, step and slide, step and slide. Okay, so if we're going to go forward, we're going to start with our lead foot. If we retreat, we're going to start with our rear foot. Step and slide, step and slide. Okay, step slide, step slide, step slide, step slide. Okay, so now that was a basic review of our first exercise, our first set of footwork mechanics. That was a basic review of our first set of footwork mechanics. Okay, so now we know how to advance, we know how to retreat using basic step and slide footwork. To do the slide and step, we're going to start this time by bringing our rear leg forward and then stepping out. Slide and step, slide and step. This is a little bit quicker footwork, and this is probably what's going to be your workhorse. This is where you're going to use the most often to move around in a sparring match or in a fight. This is the kind of footwork you're going to use most often. Slide and step, slide and step, slide and step, slide and step. Okay, that's the basic there. So now that's our short review. If you want to go back to the first video where we talked a little bit more in depth about this particular mechanic, please feel free. The purpose of these videos are to give you a really well-structured bit of study material so that you too can at home study martial arts and develop a curriculum that will suit you, the individual, whether it be like myself, somebody who lives very rurally and doesn't have the resources to just go out and take a martial arts class. There might be any number of reasons why you don't have access to a traditional martial arts school or a traditional martial arts coach or teacher. And so what I want to do is provide for you something that I never had. And what that is a curriculum of material that you can study over the internet that will give you the materials you need to become proficient either as a competitive fighter or in self-defense. Okay? So, and we're going to go from scratch. We're going to go from zero all the way up to as advanced material as you guys want to go. So it's up to you guys. We can keep it fundamental or we can get as advanced as you want. And basically I need feedback from you guys, whatever you feel is most important. However, in this phase 1 material, we're gonna work the fundamentals. We're gonna be very structured and very disciplined in making sure that we have all bases covered. We're gonna get our footwork, we're gonna get our body movement, our head movement, we're gonna have our defensive positions and our defensive structure. We're gonna have all of that. We're gonna cover our basic tools, our basic combinations, counterattacks. We're going to do the fundamentals. So it's going to be very important that you follow along and follow the progression of videos. Okay, so that being said, the next thing that we're going to cover is basically moving laterally. Okay, so moving laterally is still fundamentally the same mechanic. What we want to do is we want to move to the right or to the left. And just as we talked about in the first video, when you move forward, you move the lead foot. When you move backwards, you move the rear foot. In this case, when we want to move, say, to the right, we're going to move the right leg first. And again, most of these concepts are to be considered a rule of thumb. They're not written in stone. There may be times when it is just highly appropriate for you to step with the left foot first. There may be times when it's appropriate for you to circle. Who knows what? Anyway, the point being, these are just the fundamental groundwork that you need to know to understand the coordination, the basic building blocks of having good footwork. So one of the things I want you to work on is just being able to move, shuffle to the right and to the left, leading with the right foot when you're stepping out to the right, leading to the left foot when you're stepping out to the left. And that looks like this. So if we're in our basic stance, we got good form, what we're going to do, if we want to go to the right, we're going to step out to the right first, then slide over. And again, it's our basic step and slide footwork. If we want to go to the left, we're going to step with the left and slide the right foot. Okay? To the right again, step and slide. To the left, step and slide. Okay? So now, obviously, we don't do these things separate from the other material that we've covered. We're basically building. We're putting one brick on top of the other. And all of these techniques and mechanics are meant to be utilized together. So what we want to do is, now that you know you've got step and slide forward, step and slide forward, step and slide back, step and slide back. We can now add the step and slide shuffle laterally. So if we wanted to move laterally for some reason, if we start stepping and slide forward, and then for whatever reason maybe your opponent attacks, now we're going to step and slide laterally. Okay? Or maybe we need to go back again. Maybe we need to consider stepping and slide forward and then stepping and slide laterally to this side. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to play around with this. Start working on your step and slide forward shuffle, and then start adding in the lateral movement. Okay? So it's gonna look something like this. You're gonna be moving around, and you want to think of yourself not so much like this static, tight, defensive stance, but think of yourself more like an athlete, like a football player or a basketball player. You want to be loose and free to move, and free to move your body and your shoulders. You want to be able to move your legs freely. So you want to kind of keep your weight on the balls of your feet and be able to move in any direction at any time.